Hi there, Robert Stoll, Stoll Review, and someone recently posted on a group I'm an admin in with this picture from a comment that I couldn't help but feel the need to reply to. Now, of course, I don't really know this person, I don't know what thread it came from. All I know is that this poor person posted it, and I feel it needs a little bit of a reply video. If nothing more for the shits and giggles of replying to a really, really angry person for really no goddamn reason. So let's jump into this, shall we? Fuck Gamergate. Fuck it to hell. Fuck all of its pseudo-intellectual and outright trolls that think that just because they have a penis, they think that they are the only ones allowed to play video games. Well, folks, here's where the trouble starts. See, from the beginning of Gamergate, ever since the gaming journalists decided to push a narrative of sexism on the Gamergate community, there's been this major misconception where Gamergate argues one point, that being ethics for video games journalism, obviously, and the antis argue the point that we need to stop being misogynist when, in fact, there's really no way for us to respond to that because, well, we aren't actually being misogynist. This poor person seems to be under the impression that Gamergate is. But, let's keep on reading because this is only the basis of her argument, and this rabbit hole goes just far deeper. She continues. Women are allowed to play video games and be just as hardcore as men. Also, women are not properly represented in games, and if you think they are, then please stafoo and fuck off. Well, to respond to her first point that they can be as hardcore, hey, I agree. In fact, I think she is actually in line with a majority Gamergate opinion that video games aren't a boys' club. But moving on, women are not properly represented in games? Well, fine. If this poster really thinks that, then I can't say that she, I assume it's a she anyways, is entitled to her opinion, but that maybe posting a YouTube comment about it is not the best idea, nor is changing, given franchises, given games, or even trying to limit the ideas expressed in video games. If she wants to really make an impact, well, she can make her own games that properly portray women in whatever light she wants, whether that be more intelligent, more covered, more skilled. Maybe she wants a bad guy for a women character, and that's all possible. But she has to first get up and get going, and really, witty name, there's nothing stopping you from putting in the same effort that other video game makers put into their games into a game of your own. Continuing on, I have had just about enough of this humanity and its racism, sexism, ableism, homophobia, and general corruption. Well, funny, given everything we've digged up in Gamergate, I wouldn't say that the racism, sexism, ableism, homophobia, and general corruption has been within Gamergate itself. Of course, there are other members, and I can't speak for all of Gamergate. It is, after all, either any way you want to view it, either a hashtag or a movement that does not have leaders or anything like that, or any way of kicking people out, that people can have certain opinions that, yes, are bigoted, but I think you'll find that opening the discussion about it might do better than sort of this antagonistic tone you're pulling with us. Further on, Gamergate, as far as I'm concerned, deserves to be locked up in prison along with terrorists and murderers and pedophilias of this planet. The reason, and you may ask, sexism gone crazy to the point of death threats. Also, don't try defending Gamergate because I don't want to hear it. Do you got that? I don't want to fucking hear what you pseudo-intellectual trollbags have to say. My reasoning is for not wanting to listen is because you will try pinning it on women or the feminists anyway, so I don't want to fucking hear your biased bullshit. Well, let's deconstruct this one, shall we? Gamergate, as far as I'm concerned, deserves to be locked up in prison. Wow. Wow, you really went there. Find a small subset of people who apparently send death threats, which, by the way, has not been proven, claim that they belong to a group, and then claim that everyone in that group deserves to be locked up for mere association. I mean, let's say that you aren't saying that mere association is a punishable crime. Let's say you want to do it for merely having, for the sake of the argument, a sexist opinion. Well, essentially you want to lock us up for thinking wrong, which, frankly, my dear, is far more authoritarian than you really think. I suggest you go read 1984 if you don't get what I'm saying here. And then you don't even try to, or I should say, you shut down the conversation immediately when there's counter evidence to be had. You call us pseudo-intellectual trollbags, and that's it, on really no basis besides this established notion that we are misogynist. My dear, you don't give us the time to explain ourselves. And I can understand the anger when it comes to a lot of what has been said about us, because if you believe what has been said about us, yes, we are terrible, terrible people. But if you do the research, if you don't believe everything you see on the internet, your premonitions might change. But the first step to that is to go beyond your narrative, to exit the hug box, if you will, and see the other side. You may not agree with the other side, and frankly, that's fine. If there's someone who disagrees with Gamergate and has a perfectly legitimate point, well then, there's really a difference of opinion there, and we can both equally coexist. You have touched the wrong person, Gamergate. The wrong person.
So we're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
I will not be silenced as the others were, and I will not have my opinion censored by a bunch of half-witted, misogynistic pricks who think they are far better than the people that don't believe them or agree with them, and will not be harassed into giving up my will to fight this battle. I actually appreciate the enthusiasm. See, this is the kind of strength that someone needs to actually be motivated to have a discussion. But simply disagreeing with someone isn't censoring. And given that you haven't even opened up the discussion, in fact, you've explicitly closed the discussion, well, you're not really about to have any sort of meaningful sort of discourse that may dissuade you of the notion that we are, well, half-witted, misogynistic pricks. As for the rest of that line, that we think we are better than other people that don't agree with us or believe us, well, again, I refer back to my point up to when you tried the whole racism, sexism, ableism, homophobia, and general corruption thing. I think you're getting far too deep into the wrong side if that's what you're really against. But by all means, We will not silence you, and we haven't silenced others. We've criticized others, but that's pretty much it. This is for the Zoe Quinns and Brianna Woos out there who have been harassed into silence by a bunch of misogynistic fucktards. Again, I look into these people because I can assure you both Zoe Quinn and Brianna Wu have dirt on them that invalidate any sort of sympathies, you could say, that one could extend them. If you disagree, obviously, well, then fine. But remember, just because these happen to be women, a popular figure with an anti-Gamergate, that perhaps these people aren't really telling the truth. And she ends with this. Women can be gamers. Women must be equally represented. Fuck Gamergate. P.S. Replies disabled for obvious reasons. Because fuck Gamergate. Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you. I mean, we didn't really get a chance to talk, unfortunately. But, if you ever want to, go ahead and actually contact Gamergate. There's some Facebook groups you can actually get into. There's, of course, the Twitter exchanges. There's the streams you can get into. And, maybe we can actually have a dialogue. But for now, since you don't really want a dialogue at all, it seems, a witty name, I guess we have to bid each other adieu. Across our fence that doth divide us, I wish you a pleasant day. And for the rest of you, this has been the Stoll Review, and you all have a pleasant day as well.